They thought executing a Virgin Omega would be justice. They thought Lyra Ashenmere was weak. They were wrong. The Thornstrike triplets were not looking for a servant. They were claiming a queen. The forge fire roars like a caged beast. Lyra brings the hammer down. Metal screams. Sparks explode into the dim workshop, each one a dying star against the afternoon shadows. Her arms burn with honest ache, the kind that comes from shaping iron, from coaxing beauty out of brutality. She has been a blacksmith's apprentice for 5 years. Ever since old Garrett found her sleeping behind his workshop, 18 years old and hollow-eyed with nowhere to go. He taught her to read fire, to bend metal to her will, to survive. He never asked why she flinched when alphas came too close. The sword taking shape beneath her hands will sell for 3 silver marks, enough for medicine. Mistress Hale's daughter has been coughing blood for weeks. The pack healer refuses to treat Omegas who cannot pay. Lyra does not have much, but she has her hands, her fire, her will to help where others turn away. She plunges the glowing blade into the quenching barrel. Steam erupts with violence. The workshop fills with scorched metal and old sweat. Then she hears it, a scream, high, terrified, young. Lyra's head snaps toward the sound. The hammer falls from her fingers. She is running before thought catches up, through the workshop door, into the dusty street beyond. Ironwood-packed territory sprawls before her in fading light. Wooden buildings lean together like drunken soldiers. Livestock smell mingles with cooking smoke. Another scream cuts through the afternoon air. Closer now. Lyra runs faster. Her heart hammers. The bond mark on her inner wrist burns cold the way it always does when danger is near. A remnant from her mother. The only thing Lyra has left of a woman who died when she was 5. She rounds the corner and stops. The scene crystallizes into terrible clarity. Alpha Magnus stands in the street's center. Large, thick through chest and gut. Graying hair, hands like meat hooks. Wealth drapes his body in fine wool and polished leather. Power radiates from him in waves that make lesser wolves bow their heads. He holds a girl by the arm. She cannot be more than 14. Ilara. Lyra knows her. The child sometimes sits outside the forge watching with wide, dark eyes as metal transforms. Ilara is crying now. Tears stream down her face as she struggles against Magnus's iron grip. Her dress is torn at the shoulder. Bruises bloom purple on pale skin. Please, the girl sobs, please do not make me. Silence. Magnus's voice cracks like a whip. You should be grateful. An alpha of my station taking interest in worthless Omega trash like you. A crowd has gathered. 20 wolves. 30. More arriving every moment. They watch with sick fascination. Witnessing tragedy, they are too afraid to stop. Lyra sees Ilara's mother in the crowd, on her knees, hands clasped, face wet with helpless tears. A beta male holds her back, his expression carefully blank. No one moves to help, because Magnus is an alpha, wealthy, connected, powerful, because this is how the world works. Lyra's hands curl into fists. She thinks of her mother, dead at 23. Lyra does not remember her face, but she remembers the stories whispered in dark corners. Beautiful Illyra, broken Illyra, the Omega who gave everything to an alpha who took and took until nothing remained. The Omega who walked into the river one winter morning and never came back. Lyra was 5. She has spent 18 years trying not to become her mother. Magnus pulls Ilara closer. His hand slides to the girl's throat. When he speaks, his voice drops to something obscene. You will come with me. You will accept the mating bond. If you fight, your mother loses her job. She will starve. Do you understand? Ilara's sobs turn to whimpers. Something inside Illyra's chest cracks open. She does not think. Thinking is dangerous. Thinking leads to paralysis. To watching while the world devours everything soft and good. She moves. The forge is 10 steps behind her. Door still open. Inside, leaning against the wall, is an iron rod, 2 feet of solid metal, still warm from fire proximity. Lyra covers the distance in heartbeats. Her fingers close around the rod. Heat bites her palm, but she does not let go. She is running again. The crowd parts without realizing why. She is just an Omega, small, insignificant, no threat, until she is. Magnus turns at the last second. Eyes widen, mouth opens to shout. Lyra swings. The iron rod connects with his jaw. The sound is a tree branch snapping. Impact reverberates up her arms. Teeth scatter across dirt. 1, 2, 3 small white fragments catching dying sunlight. Blood explodes from Magnus's mouth. He releases Ilara. The girl stumbles backward. In free, Magnus hits the ground. For one perfect moment, the world is silent. Then chaos erupts. Wolves surge forward. Hands grab Lyra's arms. Her hair, her throat. The iron rod is torn away. She does not fight. 1 Omega against 30 wolves. Pointless. But Alara is free. Someone drives a fist into Lyra's stomach. Air evacuates her lungs. She doubles over. Gasping, a boot catches her ribs. She tastes copper and salt. They force her to her knees. Magnus stands. Blood streams down his chin, staining expensive fabric. When he opens his mouth, the gaps where teeth used to be make him monstrous. "You broken little bitch," he slurs through ruined lips. "You dare strike an alpha." Lyra spits blood onto dirt between them. She does not answer. What could she say that would matter? Magnus's hand closes around her throat, lifts her with terrifying ease. Her feet leave the ground. Black spots dance at Vision's edges. "I will see you hanged," he hisses. "I will watch you choke. Then I will take what I want from your corpse." Lyra's hands scrabble uselessly at his wrist. Cannot breathe. Cannot think. The world narrows to fading light. Then a voice cuts through gathering darkness. "Enough!" Magnus drops her. Lyra collapses, sucking air that tastes like smoke and blood and salvation. Vision swims. When it clears, she sees boots. Polished leather. Expensive. AlphaKing pack leader of Ironwood stands over her. Severe, thin, sharp, gray eyes holding all the warmth of winter graves. "The law is clear," Kieran says. His voice carries across silent crowd. "Any wolf who raises hand against an alpha in violence forfeits their life." Lyra's heart turns to ice. She knew this. Of course she knew. The law has been the same for 1,000 years. Alphas are sacred, untouchable. To strike one is to strike at pack society's foundation. But knowing and accepting are different things. Trial at sunset. Kieran continues. The council will decide her fate. Magnus spits blood. There is nothing to decide. She dies. That is for the council to determine. 2 beta guards haul Lyra to her feet. Her legs barely support her weight. They drag her toward holding cells. As they pass through the crowd, she sees Alara's mother clutching her daughter. Tears stream down both faces. But Alara is whole, unmarked, free. Lyra closes her eyes and lets them take her. The cell is 8 feet by 8 feet of packed dirt and cold stone. No window, no furniture, only a bucket in the corner and iron bars that smell like rust and despair. Lyra sits with her back against the wall. Ribs throb with every breath. Blood has dried on her lips in sticky flakes. Minor pains. Temporary. She will be dead by morning. The thought should terrify her. Instead, she feels strangely calm, as if some essential part has already departed, leaving only the shell. She thinks about Alara's face. The relief, the gratitude. Worth it. Footsteps echo outside. A key turns. The cell door swings open with rusty shriek. AlphaKing enters. No weapons, no guards. A calculated choice. He wants her to understand how little threat she poses, how thoroughly she is lost. For just a moment, something like shame flickers across his face. Then it vanishes, replaced by cool pragmatism. That is not my concern. It should be. What I am concerned with is maintaining order. You violated our most sacred law. If I do not punish you severely I risk appearing weak. Weak alphas do not remain pack leaders long. So I die to preserve your authority. Yes. At least he is honest. Kieran stands, brushes dust from trousers with meticulous care. The trial is formality. The council has already decided. You will be executed at dawn. He turns toward the door. Wait. Kieran pauses. Lyra forces herself to her feet. Body protests every movement. She faces him with what little dignity remains. What happens to Alara? For the first time, genuine emotion crosses Kieran's face. Regret, or perhaps just fatigue. That is no longer your concern. He leaves. The door locks with terrible finality. Lyra slides back down the wall. Pulls knees to chest, wraps arms around them. The cell is cold, so cold, she cannot stop shivering. 23 years old, she will never see 24. Hours crawl past with agonizing slowness. She tries to sleep, but nightmares wait in darkness. Her mother's face blurred by time and grief. Alara's screams, Magnus's bloody smile. When footsteps sound again, she thinks it must be dawn. Time for execution. But the light filtering through door cracks is wrong. Still orange. Still afternoon. The door opens. 4 guards stand outside. But these are not Ironwood wolves. Their armor is different, black leather worked with silver thread, quality steel swords at their hips. The man in front is older, maybe 60, weathered face, kind eyes set in warrior frame. He wears a badge on his chest, 3 wolves circling a crown. Lyra's breath catches. She knows that symbol. Every wolf in the Northern Territories knows it. The Thornstrike triplets. Lyra Ashenmere, the old guard says, voice gentle despite fearsome appearance. You are hereby remanded to custody of the Thornstrike kings for final judgment. She stares. Words fail. Come willingly and you will not be harmed during transport. Resist and we will use force. Your choice. Lyra finds her voice. Small. Broken. Why would they care about me? The old guard's expression softens into something like pity. That is not for me to say, girl, but cooperate. The triplets are many things, but they are not cruel. You will receive fairer judgment from them than here. Fairer judgment. As if there is any judgment beyond death. But what choice does she have? Lyra stands, legs steadier now, walks toward the door on her own power. The old guard nods approval, produces iron shackles from his belt. I must bind you, protocol. She extends wrists without complaint. The metal is cold, humiliating, a physical reminder of her new status. Prisoner, criminal, dead woman walking. They lead her through the pack house. Wolves gather to watch. Some spit, some shout insults. A few just stare with hollow eyes. Magnus is there, jaw wrapped in bandages, hatred burning in his gaze. Kieran stands beside him, expressionless. Word had already spread that Magnus was stripped of his alpha privileges by the council for attempting to force bond a child, but he still lived, still breathed, still wanted her dead. Alara is nowhere to be seen. Good. The girl should be far from this place. Outside, a carriage waits. Black wood, silver fittings. 6 horses stamp impatiently. The old guard helps Lyra inside. The interior is surprisingly comfortable. Velvet cushions, clean blankets, water skin and wrapped bread on the seat. 4 days to Obsidian Keep, the guard says. My name is Aldrich. If you need anything during the journey, call for me. Then he closes the door. The carriage lurches into motion. Lyra sits in stunned silence as her home disappears behind her. 4 days on the road becomes a strange interlude between one death and another. Aldrich proves unexpectedly kind. He allows her to wash in streams when they stop to rest horses. Shares his rations without complaint. At night, when they make camp, he tells stories. Stories about the Thornstrike triplets. They took power 15 years ago. Aldrich says, poking campfire with a stick. Sparks rise into dark sky. Their father was a tyrant, cruel in ways I will not speak of in front of a lady. Lyra almost laughs at being called a lady, but she holds her tongue. The brothers killed him together, Aldrich continues. Draven struck the first blow. Caspian held him down. Evander delivered the final cut. Barely 20 years old. Why did they wait so long? Aldrich's face goes dark. Because their father kept hostages. Omegas mostly, threatened to kill them if the brothers rebelled. When the brothers finally moved, they had to be certain they could save everyone. Did they? Most? Not all. Firelight cast strange shadows across weathered features. They ruled differently than their father, he says after long silence. Fair, just. They do not force Omegas into servitude. They pay well for those who choose to stay. But they still take Omegas. Aldrich meets her eyes. They do. But every Omega who has left their service did so alive, wealthy, and willing. That is more than can be said for most Alpha Lords. Lyra digests this in silence. She wants to ask more. Wants to understand what fate awaits at Obsidian Keep. But exhaustion pulls at her like physical weight. She sleeps poorly that night. Dreams chase her through tangled forests. Her mother's voice calls from somewhere just out of reach. Run, little star. Run and do not look back. On the 3rd day, landscape begins to change. Rolling hills give way to jagged mountains. Air grows thin and cold. Snow caps distant peaks in white that glows like bone under moonlight. And then on the 4th day, as sun breaks over Eastern Ridge, she sees it. Obsidian Keep. The castle rises from the mountain like a dark fang. Black stone walls reflect dawn light with oily sheen. Towers claw at sky. Pennants bearing the 3 wolf sigils snap in wind. Beautiful. Terrifying. The last place she will ever see. The carriage passes through 3 sets of gates. Guards inspect them at each checkpoint. Eyes linger on Lyra with undisguised curiosity. Some whisper behind the gloved hands. Finally, they stop in a massive courtyard. Aldrich opens the door. Come, girl. They are waiting. Lyra steps onto cobblestones so polished they reflect sky. Servants scurry about on mysterious errands. The smell of horses and forge smoke and something wild and dangerous fills her lungs. This place thrums with power. Aldrich leads her through a side entrance. They climb stairs. So many stairs. Her legs burn by the time they reach a heavy wooden door carved with wolves and crescent moons. He knocks 3 times. Enter. The voice from inside is deep, commanding. It raises goosebumps on Lyra's arms despite corridor warmth. Aldrich pushes the door open. The room beyond is enormous. Vaulted ceilings disappear into shadow. Windows overlook the mountain range in brutal glory. A massive fireplace crackles with flames casting dancing light across expensive rugs and dark furniture. But Lyra sees none of this, because standing in the room's center are 3 men, 3 alphas. Identical in height and build, but different in every other way that matters. The one in the center has hair like midnight. It falls to his shoulders in waves that should look soft, but somehow only emphasize hard planes of his face. A scar runs from collarbone to jaw, pale against sun-darkened skin. His eyes are silver. They track Lyra's every movement with predatory focus. Draven, the eldest, the alpha of alphas. To his right stands a man with hair the color of burnished copper, tied back revealing a face all sharp angles and barely controlled violence. His hands are scarred from lifetime of weapons work, eyes amber, burning with intensity that makes Lyra want to look away. But she does not. Caspian, the warrior. The third brother stands to Draven's left. Hair platinum, almost white in firelight, worn loose around a face that would be beautiful if not for coldness in ice-blue eyes. Where his brothers radiate obvious danger, this one is still water hiding unknown depths. Evander, the spy master. They are the most terrifying creatures Lyra has ever seen, and she cannot stop staring. Well, Draven says, voice rolling through the room like distant thunder. Here she is, the Omega who attacked an alpha to protect a child. Lyra lifts her chin. If she is going to die, she will do it with what little pride remains. I broke his jaw. Her voice sounds steadier than she feels. I would do it again. Something flickers in Draven's silver eyes. Amusement, respect. Caspian circles her slowly. She forces herself to remain still even as every instinct screams to run. He stops behind her, so close she can feel his body heat against her back. Kieran would have hanged you at dawn. I know. So why do it? This from Draven. Why throw your life away for a stranger's child? Lyra thinks about her mother, about Alara's terrified face, about every Omega she has ever known who learned to make themselves small and quiet and invisible just to survive. Because someone had to, she says simply. Silence settles over the room. The 3 brothers exchange glances. Some unspoken communication passes between them. Finally, Draven steps forward. He is even larger up close. She has to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. We are going to offer you a choice, he says. Death or complete submission to all 3 of us. The words hang in the air. Lyra's mouth goes dry. Submission, she repeats slowly. Yes. Draven's expression does not change. You would belong to us, body and will. You would serve our needs without question or hesitation. You would sleep in our bed, eat at our table, exist solely for our pleasure, until we chose to release you. And if I refuse, then you will be returned to Ironwood Pack for execution. It is not really a choice at all. Lyra's mind races, cornered, trapped. Either she dies at the end of a rope, or she becomes the plaything of 3 powerful alphas who could break her in ways that make death seem merciful. But Aldrich said they were fair. Said previous Omegas left alive and wealthy. And somewhere in this terrible castle, in this impossible situation, there is the smallest chance of survival. I have conditions, she hears herself say. Caspian laughs. The sound is sharp and surprised. Of course you do. Let us hear them, Draven says. Lyra swallows hard. Her voice is steady when she speaks, stronger than she feels. No permanent marks without my consent. Temporary claiming is fine, but nothing that would prevent me from eventually choosing my own mate when you release me. Draven nods once. Agreed. Next. I want it in writing that when you release me, I am free to go wherever I choose. No forcing me into a specific pack. No arranged matings. Complete freedom. Done, Evander says. What else? This is the important one. The one that might get her killed right here and now. I want your word that you will never use me to hurt anyone else. No forcing me to lure other Omegas. No using my submission as leverage against my former pack. No political games that would harm innocent people. The silence that follows is suffocating. Draven studies her with those unsettling silver eyes. She cannot read his expression, cannot tell if she has just sealed her fate. Then slowly he smiles, not kind, but genuine. You are smarter than you look, little Omega. Most in your position would be focused solely on their own comfort and safety, not worried about protecting others. Most in my position probably did not get here by breaking an alpha's jaw to protect a child, Lyra points out. Caspian's laughter is fuller this time. Real. I like her, he says to his brothers. Can we keep her? We agree to your conditions, Draven says, ignoring Caspian completely. Now you agree to ours. From this moment until we release you, your body belongs to us. We will use you however we please, whenever we please, as often as we please. You will submit to our desires without complaint or resistance. Is that understood? Lyra's heart hammers against her ribs. This is it. The moment everything changes. She thinks about the rope, about Magnus's bloody smile, about dying alone and unmourned in a pack that never valued her. She thinks about survival, about choice even when all choices are terrible. I understand, she whispers. Say it. This is Evander's cold voice cutting through her hesitation. Say you agree to submit to us completely. Lyra closes her eyes, takes a breath, opens them again. I agree to submit to all three of you completely until you choose to release me. The effect is immediate and electric. All three alphas move at once. Their combined presence is overwhelming. Draven's hand comes up to cup her face, tilting it toward him. Caspian's arms wrap around her from behind, pulling her back against solid chest. Evander's fingers find the ties of her worn dress, working at knots with practiced ease. First rule, Draven says, thumb brushes over her bottom lip. From now on, you call us by name. No, your majesty or alpha. Just Draven, Caspian, and Evander. We want to hear our names on your lips. Heat floods Lyra's face. Second rule, Caspian continues, mouth against her ear. No hiding your reactions. We want to see everything you feel, hear every sound you make, know exactly how our touch affects you. His hands slide up her ribs. She cannot suppress the shiver that runs through her. Third rule, Evander adds. Her dress finally comes loose, beginning to slide down her shoulders. Trust us. We are going to push your boundaries, test your limits, take you places you have never imagined. But we will not truly harm you. Your safe word is mercy. Use it if you genuinely need us to stop. Draven cups her face in scarred hands. Say it now so we know you understand. Mercy, Lyra whispers. Again, louder. Mercy. Good. His thumb traces the line of her jaw. Now forget it exists unless you truly need it, because we are going to push you, test you, break down every wall you have built, and when we are done, you will be remade into something stronger. He leans down, mouth hovers a breath away from hers. Do you understand what I am offering you, Lyra Ashenmere? This is not slavery. This is transformation. Her heart pounds so hard she thinks it might escape her chest entirely. I understand, she says. Then let us begin. What follows is claiming, not violent, not cruel, but thorough, systematic. The destruction of every defense Lyra has ever built, and the careful rebuilding of something new. Draven kisses like he is trying to consume her soul. Caspian kisses like he fights without mercy, claiming ground and holding it. Evander kisses with methodical patience, cataloging every response. They strip her, learn her body through touch and taste, and the sound she makes when fingers find sensitive places she did not know existed. Draven is methodical, building pleasure with calculated precision. Caspian is intense, pushing her toward edges she did not know were there. Evander is patient, watching responses adjusting based on what makes her arch and whimper. The first climax hits her like lightning. Her entire body convulses. She screams into expensive pillows, overwhelmed by pleasure, so intense it borders on pain. When she finally comes back to herself, gasping and shaking, all three brothers watch with deep satisfaction. Beautiful, Caspian murmurs, but that was just the beginning. They claim her then, one by one. Draven enters her first. The pain is sharp, immediate. She cries out instinctively, trying to pull away. But Caspian and Evander hold her steady, murmuring soothing words. Breathe, Evander instructs. Just breathe through it. Draven stills when fully seated inside her, giving her time to adjust, to feel the invasion, the claiming, the utter possession. The pain begins to fade. In its place, something else emerges. Rightness, completion. As if some essential piece that had always been missing has finally clicked into place. How do you feel? Draven asks. Full, she whispers. So full. Then let us show you how good this can be. He begins to move. The second climax builds differently. Slower, deeper, rising from some core place inside her that has never been touched. When it breaks, she screams Draven's name. He follows her over the edge with a groan that sounds like relief and triumph wrapped together. His teeth sink into her throat, not deep enough to scar, but hard enough to mark, to claim, to brand her as his. Temporary, she remembers. These marks are temporary, but they feel permanent in this moment. Caspian claims her second, less controlled, more demanding. His mark finds her shoulder with a bite that makes her cry out. Evander is last, patient, almost reverent in his claiming. His mark finds her hip as he moves inside her with careful precision. When all three have claimed her, when three temporary marks burn on her skin, they tend to her afterward. Warm cloths, gentle hands checking for injuries, soft words of praise and reassurance. Lyra lies boneless between them, unable to form coherent thoughts. Her body throbs in 1,000 places. But underneath the ache is satisfaction, completion, the bone-deep knowledge that she has survived something that should have destroyed her. And instead, she has been remade. Draven pulls her against his chest. Caspian curls around her back. Evander takes her hand, intertwining their fingers. Sleep, Draven murmurs into her hair. You have earned it. She does. Lyra wakes to heat, not the warmth of bodies pressed against hers, though that is still there. This is different, internal. A fire that starts low in her belly and spreads through her entire body like molten gold. Her skin feels too tight, too sensitive. The sheets against bare flesh are almost painful in their softness. She whimpers. Evander's hand appears cool against her burning forehead. It is starting, he says to his brothers, earlier than expected. The heat, Caspian's voice comes from her left. Yes, triple alpha scent can trigger it faster in virgins. Lyra tries to focus, tries to understand what they are saying, but thought is difficult when her body is screaming for something she cannot name. She needs. How long, Draven asks. 3 to 5 days typically. She will require constant attention. Then we give it to her. What follows is a haze of sensation. Her heat consumes her, reduces her to nothing but nerve endings and desperation. The brothers take turns caring for her needs. When one exhausts himself, another takes his place. They are tireless, patient, surprisingly gentle given the violence of her body's demands. But between the claiming there are other moments, quiet moments. Draven sits beside her when fever breaks temporarily. He reads to her from heavy books about pack history and political alliances. His voice is soothing. She does not understand half of what he says, but she listens anyway. The northern territories are held together by 12 primary packs. He explains, showing her a map. Each one controls different resources. Timber, ore, fertile land. Our power comes from controlling trade routes between them. Why are you telling me this? Her voice is hoarse from screaming. Because you should understand the world you now inhabit. He traces lines on the map with one finger. Here is Ironwood, where you came from. Small pack, poor resources. They survive by selling their young to wealthier territories. Lyra's jaw tightens, like Magnus wanted to buy Alara. Exactly. Draven's expression darkens. It is a system that breeds abuse. We have been trying to change it for years. But tradition is a stubborn enemy. What would you change? He looks at her with those unsettling silver eyes. I would give Omegas the same legal protections as Alphas and Betas. The right to refuse unwanted bonds, the right to own property, to vote in pack councils. Your father would have hated that. My father was a monster. I spent every waking moment trying not to become him. There is such raw honesty in his voice that Lyra reaches out without thinking. Her hand covers his. You are not him, she says firmly. You could never be. Something in his expression softens. He brings her hand to his lips and kisses her knuckles. Thank you for that. When the heat takes her again, he is there to ease it. Caspian teaches her different lessons. On the second day, when her body allows for brief respites, he shows her defensive holds, how to break a grip on her wrist, where to strike to disable an opponent. Even Omegas should know how to protect themselves, he says, adjusting her stance. Especially Omegas. Lyra practices the movements. Her body is weak from heat, but muscle memory is beginning to form. Why did you kill your father? She asks during one of these sessions. Caspian goes very still. For a long moment, she thinks he will not answer. Then he sits heavily on the bed's edge, head in his hands. He made me kill someone I loved. The words are so quiet she almost misses them. What? Her name was Mira. His voice cracks on the name. She was an Omega, sweet, kind. She worked in the kitchens. I was 19. She was 17. It was not official, but we had an understanding. Lyra's heart clenches. My father found out. Caspian's hands curl into fists. He said I was weak, that loving an Omega made me unfit to rule. He gave me a choice. Kill her myself or he would torture her to death over days. Oh gods. I thought I was being merciful. His amber eyes are wet. I thought a quick death was kindness compared to what he would do. So I broke her neck. Fast. Painless. She never even knew I was behind her. Tears streamed down Lyra's face. That is when we decided, Caspian continues, Draven, Evander, and me. We decided that if we were going to become monsters anyway, we might as well kill the biggest monster of all. He looks at her then. Really looks at her. You are the first Omega I have trusted since Mira died. The first one I have let myself feel anything for. Lyra reaches for him, pulls him into an embrace that has nothing to do with heat or claiming, just comfort, human connection. I am sorry, she whispers against his copper hair. I am so sorry. He does not cry, but he holds her like she is the only solid thing in a tilting world. Later, when the heat takes her again, his claiming is different, more tender, as if he is trying to erase old ghosts with new memories. Evander is the quietest of the three. He brings her food during the third day, broth and bread she can barely keep down. He feeds her with patient hands, wiping her mouth when she spills. Thank you, she murmurs. You do not need to thank me for basic care. Still, he sets the bowl aside, studies her with those ice blue eyes that see too much. I need to tell you something, he says carefully, about myself, about how I experience this. Lyra waits. I am demisexual, Evander continues. Do you know what that means? She shakes her head. It means I do not experience sexual attraction the way most wolves do. I need emotional connection first. Deep connection. The kind that takes time to build. Understanding dawns. But you claimed me anyway. I did, because duty required it, because my brothers needed me. But I want you to know that what I feel for you is not just physical. It is more than that, deeper. He takes her hand, presses it to his chest where his heart beats steady and strong. You are the first Omega I have ever allowed myself to bond with, he says. The first one I have wanted to know beyond the surface. Your mind, your thoughts, your fears and hopes and dreams. Lyra's throat tightens. Why me? Because you are brave. Because you sacrificed yourself to protect a stranger. Because you look at us like we are people, not just alphas or kings or threats. He leans down, presses his forehead to hers. I am falling for you, Lyra Ashenmere. Not because of pheromones or heat or biological imperative, but because of you, the person, the soul. She cannot speak past the lump in her throat, so she kisses him instead. This kiss is different than the others, softer, sweeter, a promise rather than a claiming. When he makes love to her this time, it feels like coming home. On the fourth day, a visitor arrives. Lyra is between heat waves, dressed in a borrowed robe, sitting by the window. The brothers have left her alone briefly to attend urgent pack business. The door opens without warning. A woman enters. Beautiful. 30-something. Auburn hair and green eyes. She carries herself with the confidence of someone who knows her worth. Expensive clothes drape her frame. Jewelry glints at throat and wrists. Lyra recognizes her instantly from the stories Aldrich told. Saraphene, she breathes. The woman smiles, not kind. So they have told you about me. You used to be theirs. I was. Saraphene circles the room, slowly examining Lyra like a specimen. 5 years ago, they claimed me much like they claimed you. Told me I was special. Made me believe I mattered. Lyra's stomach sinks. And then, she asks, though she is not sure she wants to hear the answer. And then they broke me. Seraphine's voice is flat, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but the shell you see before you. But Aldrich says what he is told to say. Saraphene leans against the wall, arms crossed. The truth is more complicated. They will make you love them, Lyra Ashenmere. They will make you need them. And when they finally release you, you will spend the rest of your life trying to find that feeling again with someone else, trying and failing. Lyra stands on shaking legs. Then why did you leave? Because staying would have killed me. The words hang in the air like poison. Then Seraphine's expression shifts. The hardness melts away, replaced by something that looks like mischief. Gods, you should see your face. she says, laughing. You actually believed me. What? Seraphine crosses the room in 3 quick strides. She grabs Lyra's hands, squeezing them warmly. I am testing you, silly girl, seeing if you would run or if you would stay and fight. And you stayed. Good. You passed. Lyra stares at her in complete confusion. The truth, Seraphine says, serious now, is that the Thornstrike brothers are the best thing that ever happened to me. They taught me my worth, showed me I deserved more than scraps my pack was willing to give. When I left, it was because I found my true mate, a good man, a beta who loves me for exactly who I am. She pulls a letter from her pocket. The paper is worn as if it has been read many times. This is what I wrote them when I left. Read it. Lyra takes the letter with trembling hands. Draven, Caspian, Evander. I am leaving, but not because you have failed me. You have given me the greatest gift, the knowledge of my own value. I know now what I deserve, what I will accept and what I will not. You prepared me for a life of strength and choice. I have found my mate, a good man who sees me as an equal. I am happy, truly deeply happy. Thank you for everything. Thank you for showing me that Omegas can be powerful, that submission is not weakness, that we deserve love and respect and agency. I will never forget you, any of you. With gratitude and affection, Seraphine tears blur Lyra's vision. They let you go, she whispers, just like they said they would. They did, and they will let you go too when the time comes, if you choose to leave. Seraphine cups Lyra's face, forcing eye contact. But here is the secret, little sister. Most of us do not want to leave. We want to stay, to build something real with them. Is that why you are here to tell me this? I am here because Evander sent word that they had claimed someone special, someone brave. He asked me to come check on you, make sure you were adjusting. Seraphine smiles, warm and genuine. Welcome to the family, Lyra Ashenmere. You are going to do great things here. She kisses Lyra's forehead like a sister. Then she is gone, leaving only the scent of roses and the echo of hope. When the heat takes Lyra again that evening, she surrenders to it without fear. The heat breaks on the 5th day. Lyra wakes clear-headed for the first time in what feels like a lifetime. Her body is sore, marked, changed. But the desperate need has finally released its grip. She can think again. The brothers are asleep around her. Draven on her left arm, heavy across her waist. Caspian on her right face, peaceful in sleep. Evander at the bed's foot, one hand resting on her ankle, as if even in sleep he needs to maintain contact. They look younger like this, vulnerable. She studies each face in turn. These men who killed their father, who rule with iron and blood, who claimed her body and are slowly claiming her heart. She should hate them, should be planning her escape. Instead, she finds herself wanting to stay. Not because she has to, but because she chooses to. The realization should terrify her. It does not. Draven's eyes open. Silver catches dawn light filtering through windows. Good morning, he murmurs. How do you feel? Clear, sore, but clear. He props himself on one elbow, studying her. The heat has passed. You will need a few days to recover fully, but then your real education begins. Over the following days, they prove the truth of his words. Draven teaches her politics. He brings her to council meetings, has her sit silently in the corner and observe. Afterward, he quizzes her on what she noticed. What did you see when Alpha Victor spoke, he asks. Lyra thinks carefully. His hands, he kept clenching and unclenching his fists. His eyes darted to the door 3 times. Good, what does that tell you? He was lying, and he wanted an escape route. Draven smiles proud. Exactly, Victor has been our father's man for decades. He resents our rule. Always watch his hands. Caspian takes her to the training yards. She expects to observe. Instead, he hands her a practice sword. You broke an Alpha's jaw with an iron rod, he says. You have natural talent. Let us refine it. He is a patient teacher despite fierce reputation. He shows her footwork, balance, how to use an opponent's strength against them. You will never overpower a full-grown Alpha, he explains. So you must be smarter, faster. Strike where they are vulnerable. On the 3rd day of training, he allows her to spar against him. She loses, badly. But she manages to land one hit, one solid strike to his ribs that makes him grunt in surprise. The look of pride on his face makes her chest tight with emotion she cannot name. Evander teaches her subtler skills. He shows her the library. Row upon row of books stretching to vaulted ceilings, maps and texts and journals that smell like paper and time. Information is power, he says, running fingers along leather spines, more powerful than any sword. He teaches her codes, simple substitution ciphers at first, then more complex systems. She has a knack for patterns for seeing connections that are not immediately obvious. You could be excellent at this, Evander says one evening as they work by candlelight, if you chose to pursue it. Lyra looks up from the cipher she is decoding. You would trust me with your secrets. I already have. The weight of those words settles over her like a cloak. These men are not just using her. They are investing in her, teaching her, preparing her for what she is afraid to hope. 2 weeks after her arrival, everything changes. She is in the library with Evander when Aldrich bursts through the door. The old guard's face is pale, frightened. My lords, he gasps. There has been an incident. Evander is on his feet instantly. What kind of incident? An Omega, from the Silvercrest pack. She tried to poison Lady Lyra's dinner. Ice floods Lyra's veins. Where is she? Evander's voice has gone cold. Dangerous. The kitchens. Caspian is dealing with her. They run. Lyra keeps pace despite exhaustion, through corridors and downstairs until they burst into the massive palace kitchens. The scene is chaos. Servants cower against walls. Pots and pans scatter across the floor. And in the center of it all, Caspian holds a young Omega by the throat. Blood drips from his other hand. His amber eyes burn with fury that makes Lyra's breath catch. At his feet lies another Omega. Female. Throat slit. Dead. Caspian, Draven's voice cuts through the tension. Release her. Caspian does not comply immediately. His grip tightens. She tried to kill Lyra, he snarls. She deserves to die screaming. Release her. Finally, Caspian opens his hand. The Omega, barely 18, Lyra realizes with horror, collapses to the floor, gasping. Draven approaches the girl with measured steps. Who sent you? The Omega's eyes are wide with terror. I cannot. They will kill my family. I will kill your family if you do not answer me. Draven's voice is soft, lethal. Who sent you to poison Lyra Ashenmere? The coalition, the girl stammers. Alpha Victor, 3 others. They said she is making you weak. That she needs to die before you make her Luna. Silence falls like a guillotine. Then Draven speaks, and his voice could freeze oceans. Take her to the cells. I want the names of everyone involved. Every single name. Guards rush forward to collect the sobbing Omega. Lyra stands frozen, trying to process what she has just witnessed. Someone tried to kill her. Multiple Alphas conspired to have her murdered, because they fear her influence over the Thornstrike brothers. Caspian turns to her. His face and hands are covered in blood. He looks like a demon from old stories. A monster wearing human skin. She should be afraid. Instead, she walks straight to him. Her hands cup his blood-slicked face. Thank you, she says clearly, for protecting me. Something in Caspian's expression cracks. The fury drains away, replaced by naked vulnerability. I cannot lose you, he whispers. Not like I lost Mira. I cannot. You will not lose me. I am here. I am alive. He collapses against her, this massive warrior reduced to trembling need. She holds him while he shakes, not caring about the blood staining her dress. Draven's hand falls on her shoulder. This is what our world looks like, he says quietly. Violence and betrayal and constant threat. If you stay with us, this is what you will face. Every day. Forever. Lyra looks at him over Caspian's copper hair. Then teach me how to survive it, she says. Teach me how to be strong enough to stand beside you. Not beside us. Evander appears at her other side. As one of us. The 3 brothers and the Omega stand together in the blood-stained kitchen. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a romance where love conquers all. This is survival, strategy, the slow building of something that might become unbreakable. And Lyra Ashenmere chooses it. All of it. When do we start? She asks. Draven's smile is sharp as broken glass. Now. 28 days. Lyra has been at Obsidian Keep for 28 days. In 2 more, her contract with the Thornstrike brothers will expire. She will be free to choose. Stay or leave. Bind herself permanently to 3 alphas, or walk away with enough wealth to start a new life anywhere in the Northern Territories. The choice should be obvious. She stands before the massive doors of the Grand Council chamber. Her hands are steady, her spine is straight. She wears a dress of deep crimson that Evander selected the color of power, he said. The color of blood. Behind these doors wait 12-pack alphas, the most powerful wolves in the north. They have come to discuss trade agreements and territorial disputes. Routine business. But Draven has invited Lyra to attend, not as a servant, not as an Omega plaything, as an observer, a student, a future voice in matters that shape their world. The doors swing open. The chamber beyond is circular with a domed ceiling soaring 3 stories high. Windows of colored glass cast rainbow light across marble floors. 12 chairs form a ring around a central table, each one occupied by an alpha whose presence fills the room with barely contained dominance. Draven sits at the head. Caspian and Evander flank him like twin shadows, and there to the right of Evander is an empty chair. For her. Lyra walks forward. Every eye tracks her movement, some with curiosity, some with barely concealed hostility. She keeps her head high, steps measured. Draven taught her this. Never show fear. Never give them the satisfaction of seeing you flinch. She takes her seat. The chair is too large. She feels small in it, but she does not slouch, does not shrink. Gentlemen, Draven says, silver eyes sweeping the circle. You have met Lyra Ashenmere. She will be observing today's proceedings. Murmurs ripple through the assembled alphas. Then one voice cuts through the rest like a blade. With respect, my lord, an Omega has no place in council matters. The speaker is Alpha Victor, old, 70 at least, with white hair and a face carved from granite by decades of cruelty. He served the tyrant king for 40 years before the brothers overthrew their father. He survived the purge by being useful, by knowing where all the bodies were buried, literally. Draven's expression does not change. Lyra is here at my invitation. Do you question my judgment, Victor? I question the wisdom of allowing distractions into matters of state. The word drips with disdain. Lyra's hands curl into fists beneath the table, but she keeps her face neutral. Evander taught her this. Information is power. Let them underestimate you. Learn what they reveal when they think you are not a threat. Duly noted, Draven says coldly. Now shall we discuss the timber trade agreement with Silvercrest? Or would you prefer to waste more time debating my personal choices? The meeting proceeds. For 2 hours, Lyra sits in silence. She watches, listens, learns. She notices which alphas defer to Victor's opinions, which ones avoid his gaze, who speaks and who stays silent. She catalogs alliances and resentments, reading invisible currents that flow beneath polite words. 7 of the 12 alphas seem uncomfortable with Victor's presence, but they say nothing. Fear, she realizes. They are afraid of him. The meeting concludes with handshakes and false smiles. The alphas file out one by one. Victor is last to leave. He pauses at the door, cold eyes finding Lyra. A word of advice, girl, he says. The higher you climb, the further you fall. Do not forget what you are. The door closes behind him. Lyra exhales slowly. Her entire body is tense. She has been holding herself rigid for so long, her muscles scream in protest. Caspian appears at her side. His hand falls on her shoulder, warm and grounding. You did well, he says. Victor is testing you, trying to provoke a reaction. Why does he hate me so much? He does not even know me. He hates what you represent. This from Evander, who has moved to her other side. Change, a disruption to the old order. Victor thrives in shadows. You bring light. Draven approaches expression thoughtful. There is something else, something we have not told you yet. Lyra's stomach tightens. What? The 3 brothers exchange glances. Some silent communication passes between them. Then Draven speaks, voice careful. We know who killed your mother. The world tilts. Lyra grips the table's edge to keep from falling. What? 18 years ago, your mother was living here, in this very keep. She was our father's favorite Omega. Beautiful, intelligent, kind. Draven's jaw tightens. He was obsessed with her. But she ran, Caspian continues, took you and fled in the middle of the night. We were only 17, too young to help, too afraid of our father to intervene. She made it to Ironwood Pack, Evander finishes, but she was being hunted. Someone our father sent to bring her back. Lyra can barely breathe. Who? Draven's silver eyes are hard as steel. Victor, the name lands like a physical blow. Your mother discovered something. Draven continues relentlessly. Evidence that our father was trafficking Omega children to other territories, selling them to wealthy alphas who wanted specific merchandise. Bile rises in Lyra's throat. She threatened to expose him, to bring evidence to the High Council. So Victor was sent to silence her. Draven's voice cracks slightly. He made it look like suicide, a drowning. But we have sources, witnesses who finally came forward after our father died. Victor murdered your mother, Caspian says bluntly. And he has been sitting in our council for 15 years pretending to be loyal. Lyra cannot move, cannot think. Her mother, her beautiful, sad mother, who walked into the river and never came back, murdered by a man who just sat across from her, who looked her in the eye and called her a distraction. Why did you not tell me? The words come out broken. Because we wanted to be certain, Evander says gently. We have been gathering evidence for months, building a case that even the other alphas cannot dismiss. We did not want to give you hope, only to have it crushed if we were wrong. But now we are certain, Draven adds, and tomorrow we will present the evidence to the full council. Victor will answer for his crimes. Lyra stands on trembling legs. She needs air, space, time to process this impossible weight of knowledge. I need to be alone, she manages. Lyra, please. They let her go. She walks through castle corridors without seeing them. Her feet carry her to the garden, to a quiet corner where stone benches overlook the mountain range. The same view her mother must have seen 18 years ago. Lyra sinks onto cold stone and finally lets herself cry. For the mother she barely remembers. For the childhood stolen by violence. For the system that allows men like Victor to thrive while Omegas drown in rivers. She cries until there are no tears left. Then she sits in silence, watching the sun set behind jagged peaks. A sound makes her turn. Draven stands at the garden entrance. He does not approach, just waits, giving her the choice to invite him closer or send him away. Lyra pats the bench beside her. He sits. For a long moment, neither speaks. Then Draven says quietly, I am sorry. We should have told you sooner. You were protecting me. That does not make it right. Lyra looks at his profile. This alpha who killed his own father, who carries the weight of an entire territory on his shoulders, who is trying so desperately not to repeat the sins of the previous generation. What will happen tomorrow, she asks. Victor will be arrested, tried. If the evidence holds, and it will, he will be executed. Good. The word surprises her. She has never wanted someone dead before. But for Victor, she makes an exception. There is something else, Draven says carefully. Something you should know before tomorrow. Lyra waits. Victor is not working alone. He has allies among the council. Alphas who benefited from our father's trafficking operation, who want to return to the old ways. Draven's hands curl into fists. Tomorrow will be dangerous. They may try to remove us from power. Or worse. What could be worse? He looks at her then, really looks at her. They may try to hurt you, to use you as leverage against us. Fear spikes through her chest. Then I will stay hidden, safe. No, Draven's voice is firm. You will be there at the council, sitting beside us, because hiding gives them power. Showing strength takes it away. I am not strong. You broke an alpha's jaw to save a child. You survived your heat with 3 alphas. You have learned politics and combat and intelligence in less than a month. He cups her face in scarred hands. You are the strongest Omega I have ever known. And tomorrow you will show them why. Lyra leans into his touch. I am afraid. Good. Fear keeps you alive. Just do not let it control you. They sit together until stars emerge overhead, until the cold drives them inside, until tomorrow becomes inevitable. Day 29 dawns gray and threatening. Lyra dresses with care. Black this time. The color of mourning. Of endings. Of justice. The council chamber is fuller today. Not just the 12 primary alphas, but their seconds. Their advisors. Nearly 40 wolves crowd the space, filling it with tension, thick enough to choke on. Lyra takes her seat beside Evander. His hand finds hers under the table. She squeezes back, grateful for the anchor. Draven stands. The room falls silent. We are here today to address a grave matter, he begins, voice carrying to every corner. A crime that has gone unpunished for too long. He gestures to Aldrich, who steps forward carrying a leather satchel. From it, he produces documents, letters, ledgers. 18 years ago, Lyra Ashenmere was murdered on the orders of Alpha Victor. Gasps ripple through the chamber. Victor is on his feet instantly. This is absurd. I have served this pack faithfully for decades. Silence. Draven's command cracks like a whip. You will speak when spoken to. He lays out the evidence methodically. Witness statements from servants who saw Victor leaving the keep the night Lyra fled. Financial records showing payment to rogue wolves who tracked her to Ironwood. A confession obtained under duress from one of those rogues. Each piece of evidence is damning, but it is the final document that destroys Victor completely. A letter, in his own handwriting, Addressed to the Tyrant King. Draven reads it aloud. The Omega has been silenced. The river took her as you commanded. The child was too young to remember. Your secret is safe. The room erupts, shouts, accusations, denials. Victor's face has gone the color of old parchment. That letter is a forgery. We have 3 handwriting experts who verified it, Evander says coldly, including one you personally recommended last year. Victor's mouth opens, closes. He looks around the room searching for allies. He finds none. Even the alphas who benefited from the Tyrant King's regime are distancing themselves. No one wants to be associated with child murder. There is more, Caspian says, stepping forward. Amber eyes burn with righteous fury. Victor was not just following orders. He was profiting from them. Running his own trafficking operation on the side. We have receipts, names, dates. He tosses papers onto the table. They scatter like accusations. Omega children as young as 12 sold to the highest bidder, all with Victor's signature approving the transactions. Horror washes over the assembled wolves. This is beyond murder, beyond betrayal. This is monstrous. Victor finally breaks. You do not understand him, he shouts desperately. The Tyrant King would have killed me if I refused. I was following orders. I had no choice. There is always a choice, Lyra hears herself say. Every eye turns to her. She stands slowly. Legs feel like water, but she locks her knees and faces Victor across the table. You could have refused. You could have helped my mother escape. You could have stood up to a tyrant instead of enabling him. Her voice strengthens with each word, but you chose power over principle, profit over people, and now you will answer for those choices. Victor's face twists with rage. You are nothing, a broken Omega playing at being important. When these brothers tire of you, you will be discarded like all the others. He does not finish the sentence. Caspian's fist connects with his jaw. Victor crashes backward, blood exploding from his mouth. Guards rush forward, restraining Caspian before he can strike again. Make him to the cells, Draven orders. He will be tried properly, publicly, and if found guilty, he will hang. Victor is dragged away, still screaming obscenities. When the doors close behind him, Draven turns to the remaining alphas. Let this be a lesson, he says quietly. The old ways are dead. The Tyrant King's reign is over. Anyone who still clings to those methods will face the same fate as Victor. One by one, the alphas nod their agreement, but Lyra sees it. The flash of resentment in some eyes. The calculation. This is not over. The council disperses. Lyra walks back to her chambers in a daze. She should feel victorious. Victor will pay for his crimes. Justice will be served. So why does she feel empty? Evander finds her standing at the window staring at nothing. You did well today, he says softly. Did I? I feel like I just painted a target on my back. You did. He does not lie to make her feel better. She appreciates that. Victor has allies. They will not forgive this humiliation. Then why let me speak? Why put me in danger? Evander turns her to face him. Ice blue eyes are serious. Because hiding you makes you a secret, a weakness they can exploit. But showing you powerful, articulate, unafraid makes you a weapon, one they cannot easily dismiss. He hesitates, then continues. There is something else. Your contract expires tomorrow. You will be free to leave if you choose. The words Lyra has been dreading. What if I want to stay, she whispers. Then we need to discuss what that means. That night, the 4 of them gather in the brothers' private chambers. Lyra sits on the sofa. Draven paces. Caspian leans against the mantel. Evander studies maps spread across a table. Victor's trial will happen in 3 days, Draven says. Public execution if found guilty within the week. But his allies will not wait that long. You think they will move against us? Lyra asks. I know they will. Evander taps a location on the map. We have intercepted communications between 5 alphas. They are planning something. We just do not know what yet. Assassination, Caspian suggests. Possibly, or a coup, or... Evander's gaze flicks to Lyra. They may target you, remove you from the board entirely. Ice floods her veins. Why me? Because you are the variable they did not account for. Draven explains. A common Omega who has gained the ear of 3 kings, who speaks in council, who the people are starting to respect. He stops pacing, faces her directly. You are dangerous to them, and dangerous things get eliminated. Lyra swallows hard. So what do we do? That depends on you, Caspian says. Amber eyes are gentle, despite the gravity of his words. Tomorrow your contract expires. You can leave. We will give you wealth protection and safe passage to any territory you choose. You will be free. Or, Draven continues, you can stay, permanently, as our mate, our Luna. But that choice comes with different consequences. What kind of consequences? Permanent marking, Evander says clinically. A full mating bond, you would be bound to us for life, connected on a level that goes beyond physical. You would feel what we feel, know our thoughts, be unable to survive if we died. The enormity of it steals Lyra's breath. And politically, Draven adds, you would become a target forever. Anyone who wanted to hurt us would come for you first. Why are you telling me this? Lyra asks. Why not just let me leave and stay safe? The three brothers exchange glances. Then Caspian speaks, a voice rough with emotion. Because we love you. The words hang in the air. We love you, Draven repeats, kneeling before her, and we will not trap you with half-truths and pretty lies. If you stay, it will be dangerous, difficult. You will make enemies who will never stop trying to destroy you. But, Evander adds, sitting beside her, you will also have power, real power, the ability to change laws, to protect Omegas who cannot protect themselves, to build something better than what came before. We are not asking for an answer now, Draven says. Sleep on it. Decide tomorrow. Whatever you choose, we will respect it. They leave her alone to think. Lyra sits in silence for a long time. She thinks about her mother, about Alara, about every Omega she has ever known who learned to make themselves small just to survive. She thinks about the power to change that, to rewrite the rules, to ensure no other child watches their mother walk into a river. But she also thinks about the danger, the constant threat, the possibility of dying young and violently for daring to challenge the system. Is it worth it? She does not know. Sleep does not come easy that night. Day 30 dawns cold and clear. Lyra wakes alone. The brothers have given her space to make her decision. She dresses slowly, mind still churning. She walks through the castle gardens seeking clarity and finds Saraphene instead. The older Omega sits on a stone bench wrapped in furs against the morning chill. She smiles when she sees Lyra. I thought you might need to talk, Saraphene says. Lyra sits beside her. How did you decide when you left? How did you know it was the right choice? I did not. Seraphine's honesty is refreshing. I loved them, all three. Part of me still does, but I realized I was staying out of fear, not love. Fear that I would never find anything better. Fear that leaving made me weak. But you found your mate. I did, and I am happy. But Lyra, she takes Lyra's hand. My situation was different than yours. I did not have a calling, a purpose. You do. What do you mean? You were not brought here by chance. You were brought here because you are exactly what this territory needs. An Omega who is strong and smart and refuses to be broken. Who can stand beside three kings and make them better? Seraphine's green eyes are serious. If you leave, you will be safe. You will be free. You will probably be happy. But you will always wonder what you could have built if you had stayed. The words settle into Lyra's bones. She knows suddenly what she has to do. Thank you, she says, squeezing Seraphine's hand. Whatever you choose, sister, I support you. Lyra returns to the castle. She finds the brothers in their council room, pretending to work, but clearly waiting for her. Three pairs of eyes turn toward her as she enters. She closes the door behind her, takes a breath. I am staying, she says clearly. Permanently. I want the full bond. Relief washes over their faces. But before they can speak, alarms begin to ring throughout the castle. Bells, horns, the sounds of panic. Caspian is at the window in an instant. Gods, it is Victor. He has escaped. Draven curses. How? He had help. Evander is already moving toward the door. Inside, help. Someone released him from the cells. As if summoned by his words, a guard bursts into the room. My lords, he gasps. Victor has taken hostages. Omegas from the servant quarters. He is demanding safe passage out of the territory, or he will start killing them. Lyra's blood turns to ice. How many hostages? Draven demands. 7. All female, ages 14 to 20. 14. The same age as Alara. Lyra is moving before conscious thought catches up. She strides past the guard out into the corridor. Lyra, wait! Caspian reaches for her. She spins to face him. Where is he holding them? The eastern tower, but you cannot. Watch me, she runs. The brothers chase after her, shouting orders to guards as they go. But Lyra is faster, fueled by rage and purpose, and the desperate need to ensure no other Omega suffers the way her mother did. The eastern tower looms ahead. Its heavy door stands ajar. Lyra pushes through. The chamber beyond is circular, with windows looking out over a sheer drop. In the center, 7 young Omegas huddle together, bound and terrified. Victor stands over them with a knife. His face is bruised from Caspian's punch. Blood crusts his split lips, but his eyes burn with manic determination. "One step closer and they die," he shouts. Lyra stops, holds up her hands. "Let them go, Victor. They are innocent." Innocent? He laughs, a sound like breaking glass. "There are no innocents. Only the powerful and the powerless. And I will not go down as powerless. You have already lost." "Not yet." His eyes find her. "You, come here." Lyra does not move. "I said come here." He grabs the youngest Omega, a girl who cannot be more than 14, and presses the knife to her throat. "Or I open her neck." The girl whimpers. Lyra looks into her terrified eyes and sees Alara, sees her mother, sees every Omega who has ever been used as a bargaining chip by men who view them as property. "Okay," Lyra says quietly. "Okay, let her go. Take me instead." "Lyra, no," Draven's voice comes from the doorway, but she is already walking forward. Victor releases the girl. She scrambles away sobbing. The other hostages shrink back as Lyra approaches. "Smart girl," Victor sneers. He grabs her arm, yanking her close. The knife finds her throat. "Now here is what is going to happen. You 3 are going to arrange safe passage for me. A horse, provisions, and I take this Omega as insurance. You will not make it past the gates," Evander says coldly. "Then I guess she dies." The knife presses harder. Lyra feels a sting. Warm blood trickles down her neck. Draven's face has gone absolutely white. "Victor, please. We can negotiate. I am done negotiating. I am done serving. I am done being powerless, while you 3 play at being heroes." His grip tightens on Lyra. "Your father understood. Power is taken, not given, and I will take what I need." "You killed my mother," Lyra says quietly. Victor pauses. "What, Alira Ashenmere? You drowned her 18 years ago. She was my mother." Understanding dawns in his eyes, then something that might be regret. "She should not have interfered," he says, "should not have discovered what we were doing. If she had just kept her head down, she would still be a slave. She would be alive." And would she, Lyra meets his gaze steadily, or would she have walked into that river anyway eventually? Because living as property is not really living at all. Victor's hand trembles slightly. "Clever words, but they will not save you." "I am not trying to save myself." Lyra shifts slightly. Caspian taught her this, how to find an opening, how to use an opponent's assumptions against them. "I am saving them." She moves, dropping her weight, twisting out of Victor's grip. The knife slashes across her shoulder instead of her throat. Pain flares white hot, but she ignores it. Her elbow drives into Victor's solar plexus. Air explodes from his lungs. Caspian is there in an instant. He tackles Victor to the ground. The knife skitters across stone. Draven pulls Lyra away from the struggle. His hands frantically check her wounds. "You foolish, brave, incredible—" "I am fine," she gasps. "The others. Make sure the others are safe." Evander is already untying the hostages. They flee toward the door, toward safety. Caspian hauls Victor to his feet. The old Alpha is beaten, broken. All the fight has drained out of him. "It is over," Draven says. Victor's laugh is bitter. "Is it? You think I am the only one? There are others? Many others. They will never accept an Omega in power. They will keep coming for her, keep trying to destroy what you are building." "Let them come," Lyra says. Blood seeps through her dress from the shoulder wound, but she stands straight. "We'll be ready." Victor looks at her with something that might be respect or hatred, perhaps both. "You are your mother's daughter," he says finally. "She had that same fire, that same refusal to break." His voice drops to a whisper. "I am sorry for what it is worth. I am sorry I killed her." It is not forgiveness, but it is acknowledgement. Guards arrive to take Victor away. This time he does not resist. When they are gone, Lyra finally allows herself to collapse. The adrenaline drains away, leaving only pain and exhaustion. Draven catches her. "We need to get you to the healer." In a moment, she looks up at the 3 brothers. "I meant what I said. I am staying. I want the permanent bond." After this, Caspian gestures at her bleeding shoulder, after seeing how dangerous it will be. "Because of this," she touches his face. "Because there are more Victors out there, more Omegas who need protection. And I can help. I can make a difference. You nearly died, Evander says, but his voice is gentle. But I did not. Because I was trained. Because I was strong. Because you taught me how to fight back. She looks at each of them in turn. Imagine what we could do together. Really together. Permanently. Draven's silver eyes are wet. You are certain. I have never been more certain of anything. He kisses her then, soft and irreverent, a promise of Omar. Then let us make it official, he says. The bonding ceremony happens that night. Not a grand public affair. That will come later. This is private, sacred. Just the four of them in the brothers' chambers with only Dr. Iris, the palace healer, as witness. Lyra's shoulder has been stitched and bandaged. The pain is manageable. And after everything she has survived, this seems minor. She stands before them in a simple white dress, traditional for Omega matings. But this is not a traditional mating. The permanent bond, Dr. Iris explains, is different than what you have experienced before. The marks will not fade. You will be connected on every level, emotionally, mentally, physically. If one of you dies, the others will feel it, be changed by it. This is not a decision to make lightly. We know, Lyra says. Then let us begin. The ceremony is intimate. No grand words, no witnesses, just four souls choosing to become one. Lyra marks each brother first, a reversal of tradition, a statement of equality. She bites Draven's shoulder above his heart, pours all her love and gratitude into the action. He gasps, eyes going wide as the bond snaps into place. Then Caspian. She marks his throat where his pulse beats strong. He trembles beneath her touch. Finally, Evander. She chooses his wrist where she can always see the mark. Always remember this choice. When the third bond settles, something shifts inside her chest. She can feel them. Not just their presence, but their emotions, their thoughts. Draven's steady determination. Caspian's fierce protectiveness. Evander's quiet devotion. It is overwhelming, beautiful, terrifying. Then they mark her in return. Draven at her throat, Caspian at her shoulder, Evander at her hip. 3 permanent brands that declare her theirs, and them hers. When it is done, they collapse together on the bed, connected now in ways that go beyond language, beyond understanding. I love you, Lyra whispers into the tangle of limbs and warmth. All of you. And we love you, they answer as one. Dr. Iris quietly exits, leaving them to discover what this new bond means. 3 days later, Victor is tried publicly. The evidence is overwhelming. The verdict is swift. Guilty on all counts. He is hanged at dawn. Lyra does not attend the execution. She does not need to see it to know justice has been served. Instead, she works with Draven and Evander on new laws. Protections for Omegas. Rights that have never existed before. No Omega can be forced into a mating without explicit consent. Violation of this law is punishable by death. No Omega under the age of 18 can be bonded. Period. Every Omega has the right to education, to own property, to vote in pack councils. Trafficking of any kind is now a capital offense. The laws are revolutionary. They will face opposition, but with the full weight of the Thornstrike throne behind them, they will pass. Lyra has made sure of it. 6 months later, the formal coronation takes place. All 12 primary packs attend. Hundreds of wolves gather in the great courtyard of Obsidian Keep. The sun shines bright despite the autumn chill. Lyra stands on a raised dais wearing robes of crimson and gold. Her stomach is rounded with pregnancy. Twins doctor. Iris confirmed last month. A boy and a girl. The first children born to the Thornstrike line in a generation. Draven places the Luna crown on her head. Silver worked with precious stones that catch the light. It is heavy, a physical reminder of the weight she now carries. Lyra Ashenmere Thornstrike. Draven's voice carries across the assembled crowd. Luna Queen of the Northern Territories. Protector of the Omega. Voice of the people. Do you accept this responsibility? I do. The crowd roars its approval. Caspian steps forward. He holds a sword, the same one he has been teaching her to wield. Will you defend this territory with strength and courage? I will. Evander is last. He carries a book, laws and contracts, and the foundation of their new world. Will you rule with wisdom and justice? I will. The 3 brothers kneel before her. The entire assembly follows suit. Hundreds of wolves. Powerful alphas who once would have sneered at an Omega in power. All kneeling. It is a moment Lyra will remember forever. Later at the feast, she finds Alara. The girl is 15 now, taller, stronger. She wears the uniform of the new Omega Leadership Academy that Lyra founded. Your Majesty, Alara says, bowing. Just Lyra, she corrects gently. How are your studies? Wonderful. I am learning combat, politics, medicine, everything I need to help other Omegas like you help me. Pride swells in Lyra's chest. You are going to do amazing things. Because you showed me I could. Alara's dark eyes are serious. You saved my life. And now you are saving everyone. After the girl leaves, Lyra stands on the balcony overlooking the celebration. Music and laughter float up from below. Her people, her territory, her responsibility. Draven joins her, sliding an arm around her expanding waist. Tired, he asks, exhausted but happy. Any regrets? Lyra thinks about the question. About the journey that brought her here. From condemned prisoner to Luna Queen. From broken to whole. No, she says finally. No regrets. Caspian and Evander appear, completing their circle. They stand together, watching the stars emerge overhead. You were sentenced to die, Draven murmurs against her hair. Instead, you became our salvation. 3 alphas. Caspian adds, his hand joining Draven's on her stomach. 1 omega. Infinite strength. Our queen, Evander finishes. Our mate, our everything. Lyra closes her eyes, feels the bond connecting all 4 of them, feels the new lives growing inside her, feels the weight of the crown and the power it represents. She was nothing. They showed her she was always everything. And together they will build a world where no Omega ever has to choose between survival and dignity again. Where strength comes in many forms. Where love is not bondage but liberation. This is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning.